Few questions from the previous chapter, 8th chapter. I thought you will ask that at the end of 8th chapter, you will ask that if any doubts are there. But then, when can I ask? Like at the end of the class today, or?
Yeah, end of the class. Yeah, we will discuss a few more verses.
Okay.
नाता परम्परमयद्भवता स्वरूपम् आनन्दमात्रमविकल्पमविद्वर्च पश्यामि विश्वसृजमेकमविश्वमात्मन् भूतेन्द्रियात्मकमदस्थ उपाश्रितोऽस्मि.
O my Lord, I do not see a form superior to your present form of eternal bliss and knowledge. In your impersonal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change and no deterioration of internal potency. I surrender unto you because whereas I am proud of my material body and senses, your lordship is the cause of the cosmic manifestation, and yet you are untouched by matter.
So somebody may say, when Brahmaji is glorifying the form which he is seeing in front of him, the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. But somebody may say that no, how can you say that Garbhodakshaya Vishnu's form is eternal and it is superior, transcendental? It is the form of Chit Shakti. The form of Chit Shakti, which is nothing to do with material, that Nirguna form is Nirguna Brahma. It is not Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. Garbhodakshaya Vishnu is a Saguna Brahma. Only the impersonal Brahmajyoti is the Nirguna Brahma. Somebody may say like that. So for that, Lord Brahma is answering. Nata param paramayad bhavata swarupam. So whatever, my dear friend, whatever you say that Nirguna Brahma is the supreme absolute truth, he said that Nirguna Brahma which is superior and which is supreme absolute truth is non-different from you, my dear Lord. Nata param paramayad bhavata swarupam. There is nothing superior to your Sarupa. Even that Brahman is one of your manifestation only, which is nothing but Ananda Matram, which is only Kevala bliss, Ananda Matram, and which is Avikalpam. So here the meaning of Avikalpam is which is without any qualities. Avikalpa, Sankalpa Vikalpa means having something you want to have. Something which has some taste, something which has some beauty, you want to have something like that. Avikalpa means it has no qualities, no attributes only. The nature of Brahman is Ananda Matram and it is without any qualities, without any attributes. And Avidya Varcha, it is undisturbed, undiminished light. They are the three qualities of Brahman. So one may say that the Brahman is superior, transcendental, supreme. But here Brahma says that, my dear Lord, you are the source of that Brahman. Just like Lord Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, Brahman Noi Pratishtha, like that. Pashyami Vishwasrujam Ekam, Avishwam Atman. O Avishwam, O Atman, O the source of this entire material world, O the creator of this material world, though you are creating this material world, Vishwasrujam, the entire universe is created by you, but you are Avishwam. You are not the material world. You are not a form made up of material world. You are not a form in the material world. You are Avishwam. You are actually Atman. You are transcendental. But for a person who is there in the material world may think that being endowed with Pancha Mahabhutas, Dasha Indriyas, Pancha Jnanendriyas, Pancha Karmendriyas, and Atmika, Man Buddhi Ahankara Chetana, endowed with the 24 elements, the body made up of 24 elements, might become proud, thinking that I have a powerful body with which I can attain everything whatever I want. I can be blissful, I can be enjoyable. I don't want anything Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, kuch karne ka jarut nahi. One may become proud of one's own material body and all the enjoyments one attains by that material body. But the best enjoyment one can have, somebody may say that Brahmananda. No, not Brahmananda. It is serving your lotus feet. Therefore, ta upashitosmi. I'll take shelter of your lotus feet. The materialistic person might say that I can get all the variety of enjoyment with my body because this body has all the facilities to give me enjoyment. But some transcendentalists may say that no, no, Brahmananda is much superior than this. But I say, having darshan of your beautiful form, serving your beautiful form is the best thing in this material world. Like that, he kind of talks about what is what, where is where, what is where. So he is talking about the ultimate Siddhanta in this these verses. So that is
Hare
the
Krishna.
yes, Manju.
Prabhuji, here says that in your personal Brahman effulgence in the spiritual sky, there is no occasional change and no deterioration of internal potency. So that means Brahman is full of internal potency of the Lord.
Yes. Brahman is also internal potency only. And it is undiminishing. That's why it is called Avidya Virvacha. Avidya Varcha means it has no diminution. It has no decrease. It is always
So
there, intact.
which is the form where the internal potency of the Lord diminishes?
It will not diminish, na. Our form diminishes. Material form diminishes. Spiritual form does not diminish.
Okay, so any form, Brahman form or any form of the Lord, there the internal potency will not diminish, no, in any of the form.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I was confused why it is specially mentioned for Brahman form that their internal potency never reduces.
Because it is written in the sloka, Avidya.
Okay.
Prabhupada explained in the sloka bus. Utna hi.
Okay.
Then, he further continues. तद्वा इदं भुवनमङ्गलमङ्गलाय ध्याने स्मनोदर्शितं त उपासकानां तस्मै नमो भगवते अनुविधेम तुभ्यं यो न धृतो नरकभाग्भिर् असत्प्रसङ्गैः.
This present form or any transcendental form expanded by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna is equally auspicious for all the universes. Since you have manifested this eternal personal form on whom your devotees meditate, I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Those who are destined to be dispatched to the path of hell neglect your personal form because of speculating on material topics.
So here he finally kind of establishes the glory of Lord's personal form. These 4 verses actually talking about the form which is directly seen by Lord Brahma. He is actually establishing the transcendental position of that form. He says that Tadva idam, this idam refers to this which I am seeing with my eyes. Bhuvana Mangala Mangalaya. Tadva idam Mangalaya. This is the most auspicious form one can think of in this material world. And this is the most auspicious form, that is Mangalaya, idam Mangalaya. And what is the nature of that auspiciousness? It can give auspiciousness to the entire material world, to the every living entity in the material world, Bhuvana Mangala. It can bring auspicious to everyone and everything in this material world. And that most auspicious form which can give auspicious to the entire universe, Dhyanes Mano Darshitam Ta Upasakanam. Because I was meditating on that form, I was meditating on that Supreme Lord, accepting me as one of his servants. Out of his causeless mercy, Lord showed me that auspicious form. Tasmai namo bhagavate anuvidema tubhyam. So let me continue to offer myself unto your lotus feet. Let me continue to offer my humble respects unto your lotus feet. Anuvidema means like a humble, obedient follower. Let me continue to worship your lotus feet. Because your form itself is auspicious personified and it can bring auspicious to the entire universe and every person in the universe. I desire auspicious for me, so I will always take shelter of your lotus feet. That's how Lord Brahma is establishing the supreme glory of Lord's form. But others may say that no, Brahman is the supreme transcendental form. How can you say this is transcendental? It is not so superior. It is not Mangala. Brahman is Mangala. This Bangla. That this, so many things they may say that. Then Brahma says that Yo nadruto naraka bhagbir asat prasangai. Those people who speak in so many things, so many false conclusions, they may come up with asat prasanga. Those who do asat prasanga, they may say that Lord Swami is made up of Maya, Brahman is eternal, Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, all this is so many things they may say. They are actually going to Naraka Bagbir. They are on the path to hell because yo anadruto, they have never worshipped your lotus feet. They have never taken shelter of your lotus feet. Such kind of people may say so many things. That does not matter. But your form is auspicious personified, and you will give auspices to everyone in this middle world, whoever becomes your devotee. This Anadruto also comes in the 10th canto, 2nd chapter, when Devatas were offering prayers to Lord Krishna, who was in the womb of Devaki. This is the famous verse which is being used in ISKCON. All the devotees use. Prabhupada uses quotes many times. Ye anni arvindaksha vimukta marinas Tvayashta bhavad avishuddha buddhaya aruya krishrena patanti aruya krishrena padam param padam pata patanti yado anadrita ishmadangraya anadrita ishmadangraya, because they have never surrendered to your lotus feet, whether since they have never worshipped your lotus feet, even though they may think that they have attained Paramadpada, the transcendental absolute truth, but they will fall down from there. Aruya krishrena param padam pata patanti ado anadrita ishmadangraya. Yushmad, metal yours, angraya, lotus feet. Anadrita, they never, adrita means giving respect. Anadrita means they never आदर दिया नहीं कभी. आपका लोटस फीट को कभी चरण कमल को आदर दिया नहीं. ऐसा लोग सोचेंगे ब्राह्मण में विलीन होने वाला है, बट वहां से वो गिर जाएंगे. ऐसा करके बताते हैं. So all the Vaishnavas use this verse to quote that to defeat the philosophy of Mayavad. So in that way. So same Anadrita also comes here. Those people who never regard Lord's lotus feet, never worship Lord's lotus feet, they may come up with so many philosophies, but Naraka Bagbir, they are eventually leading to hell. That's what Brahma says. So thus in these 4 verses, the transcendental truth or the transcendental nature of Lord's form over the form of Brahman is being established by Brahma. Brahma being our Acharya, our Sampradaya Acharya, is giving all this wonderful Tattva. And okay, if the personality of Godhead is the supreme absolute truth, how to attain Him? How to get shelter at His lotus feet? If we don't get shelter at His lotus feet, we are going to Naraka. How can we avoid going to Naraka, and how can we get shelter at His lotus feet? So that is being glorified in the next 2 verses. Next 2 verses talks about the glories of Bhakti. By practicing Bhakti, one can get shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So in the first 4 verses, it talks about establishes the personality of Godhead, position, and the nature, qualities. And now next 2 verses, the process to attain that personality of Godhead, that is being described. And next in the 4 verses, I think verse number 7, 8, 9, 10, 4 verses, he talks about by doing what one will not get shelter to the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead. That is also mentioned in the next 4 verses. Yetu tvadiya charanam bhujakosha gandham jigranti karna vivarai shrutivata nitam bhaktya shrihita charaya bhakta grihita charana paraya cha tesham na paishinata rudaya guruha swapamsham.
Oh my Lord, persons who smell the aroma of your lotus feet, carried by the air of Vedic sound through the holes of the ears, accept your devotional service. For them, you are never separated from the lotus of their hearts.
So here also one more analogy is mentioned. Very nice analogy. Etu tvadiya charanambuja kosha gandham. Tvadiya means refers to Lord's devotees. What the devotees do? Jigranti. They smell. How we smell? Krishna. But through the nostril we smell. But here what the devotees do? Jigranti karna vivarai. They smell through the ears. Karna vivarai means that they smell through the ear holes. What they smell through the ear holes? Shrutivata nitam. Shruti refers to the sound vibration. The sound vibration of the Vedic literature carried through the medium of the air. When they enter into the ear holes, they smell the fragrance of those. Generally, the air carries the aroma. Air does not carry the sound vibration. The sound vibration travels in the ether. So here, in that way, that hearing air and Shrutivadanitam like that, the comparison is given. So, Bhaktya, when a devotee hears the sound vibration through one ear holes with Bhakti, then what happens? Grihita Charana Parayajatesham. The sound vibration, the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord entering through the sound, passing through the sound vibration, having entered into the ear holes, they will enter into the heart of that devotee. Grihita Charana Parayajatesham. Parayajatesham, the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God is Para. Tvadiya Charanambuja Kosha Gandham. Those lotus feet of the Supreme Lord enter into the heart of that Tvadiya, that devotee, and Kosha Gandham. They will be seated on the lotus of their heart. Kosha Gandham refers to the oral of the lotus of their heart. There Lord will be situated. Napai Shinata Hrudayam Buruhat Swapumsham. Swapumsham means his own devotees. Having seated in the heart of his own devotees, the Lord will never come out of their heart. The lotus feet is there in the heart of those devotees. They can continuously serve those lotus feet. They can continuously witness, see, and smell the aroma of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this is the greatness of Bhakti, which is performed by smelling the fragrance of the sound vibration of the Vedic literature. The wind enters into the ear holes. This is how Bhakti is performed. Does anyone remember how does the lotus feet enters into the heart through the sound vibration through ear holes, which was mentioned by Parishit Maharaj in the 2nd canto 8th chapter? Second canto 8th chapter, one verse was there. All of you wrote in the grand test also. Remember?
Pravasta Karna, Hare Krishna.
Go ahead. Pura shloka bata diye.
Purayadni Pravista Karna Randrena Bhava Saroja. Prabhuji, I don't recollect now properly.
Anyone else?
Pravishta Karanarandrena Swanam Bhava Saroruham Dunoti Samalam Krishna Salila Dunoti Samalam Krishna end part nahi yaad aa raha.
Okay, कोई बात. Pravishta Karnarandrena Swanam Bhava Saroruham Dunoti Samalam Krishna Salilasya Yata Sharat. Yeah. When we hear Krishna Katha, along with the sound vibration, Lord's lotus feet, Lord himself will enter and he will be seated in our heart. When he enters in the heart, whatever samala is there, that is all cleansed off. Then the heart looks like the lake water during Sharat season, Sharat Rutu. Today Sharat Purnima, Sharat season is starting from today. If you happen to go and see the water ponds, because the rains have stopped a week back, so all the dust is subsided and you can see the water becomes transparent and you can see the base very clearly. It is like that. Hare Krishna, you can mute whoever it is. For the pure devotee of the Lord, there is nothing beyond the lotus feet of the Lord. And the Lord knows that such devotees do not wish anything more than that. The word tu specifically establishes this fact. Yetu tvadiya. Tu tvadiya. For the devotee, this is the most important thing. What is the most important thing? Charanambuja kosha gandham. The fragrance of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which they smell through their ear holes. That means they don't smell the fragrance. They hear about the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the sound vibration carried by wind and enters into the ear holes. So this is the way one should perform bhakti. Like that it is being indicated here. So now it further continues, the glories of bhakti is further described in the next verse. Tavat payam dravina deha suhrun nimittam शोकस्पृहा परिभवो विपुलश्च लोभः तावन्ममेति असदवग्रहभार्तिमूलम् यावन्न तेऽङ्घ्रिमभयं प्रवृणीत लोका. Little louder.
Oh my Lord.
Here Mataji is reading. Wait, Mataji. You read little louder.
Oh my God, people of the world are embarrassed by anxiety. They are always afraid. They always try to protect wealth, body, and friends. They are filled with lamentation and unlawful desires and paraphernalia, and they avariciously base their undertaking as per perceived perishable conceptions of mind and mind. As long as they do not take shelter of your safe lotus feet, they are full of such anxieties.
So he says that there is Sanskrit mein yata tata yavan tata tavan. The words are used. We will discuss about that. What is the significance of that? Yavan nate angrim abhayam pravurnita loka. Till the time a devotee does not take shelter of your lotus feet completely. Yavan nate angrim pravurnita loka. Pravurnita means completely. Loka in this material world. Why one should take shelter of Lord's lotus feet? Because they give us abhayam, fearlessness. Till the time one does not take the lotus feet, shelter of Lord's lotus feet completely, then what happens? Tavad. Till then, bhayam. One will experience fear. By what? Dravina. By one's wealth. Fear due to loss of wealth. Fear due to falling down in stock market. And they have fear due to corona. Fear due to so many diseases. Fear due to old age. Suhrun, fear due to well-wishers, fear due to sons and daughters and daughter-in-laws. There will be so many problems with them, and nimittam and other things, so many other things. What we can think of? Because of all these things, what will happen? Shoka, there is lamentation. Spruha, there is constant anxiety. Paribhava, there is failure in one's attempts, in one's endeavors, in one's plans. Because we may make plans, but our family members do not support to our plans. They have entirely different plans. And there will be intense greed. So all these things will stop us from taking complete shelter of Lord's lotus feet. They will create fear. But if we take Lord's lotus feet, we will get fearlessness, abhayam. When we are still attached to all these things, still attached to Dravina, Deha, Suhrut, Nimitta, and till then we will be endowed with fear only. And that fear will appear in the form of Shoka, Spruha, Paribhava, and Lobha. These are the qualities of that fear. So, and much more dangerous than that is Tavan Mameti. The concept of me and mine. This deep-rooted understanding, deep-rooted concept of me and mine. Asat Avagraha. Accepting Asat to be Sat. The mama iti, mama aham mameti concept is actually asat, but one accepts it as sat, one accepts it as eternal and permanent, and there is nothing more than this, which is actually in reality is cause of arti moolam, cause of distress, cause of all pain. What was the shloka from Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter, where the word arti comes? Bro, bata do. ऐसा आधा लाइन. Here Prabhuji says that Chaturvida Vajanti Imam Jana Sukritin Arjuna Artho Artharthi Artho Jignasur Artharthi Jnanicha Bhartarshapa. Artho means one who is in distress. So in order to get relief from the distress, they will come to Supreme Lord. Same way. But here, what is the reason for their Arti? Mameti Asat Avagraha. The Asat Mameti Aham Mameti thing one accepts as Sat, the eternal thing. That is the cause of one's Arti. But if one takes shelter of Lord's lotus feet, they will only have Abhayam. But taking shelter means taking shelter completely, not superficially. So that is being indicated. So in the previous verse, it is mentioned that for those devotees who take shelter of Lord's lotus feet completely and who always hear about Lord's lotus feet, the glories of the Supreme Lord, the Lord will enter into their heart. the lotus feet will stay in their heart eternally. And when Lord's lotus feet come there, the heart becomes crystal clear like the water pond in the Sharat Ritu. There will be no more anartha, there will be no more miseries in this material world. That will be the situation of a pure devotee. And a devotee in progress, a sadhaka bhakta, those who are going through anartha nivrutti, they will be troubled by all these anarthas, such as attachment to dravina, deha, suhrun, nimittam. But undergoing through these experiences such as shoka, spruha, paribhava, vipula, lobha, they slowly, step by step, they increase their surrender to Lord's lotus feet and they come out of this lower tendencies. They are the second category of devotees. Third category of people are who have taken shelter of mameti, aham mameti concept. Though it is asat, they consider it to be sat. They are actually in one way, they are on the very low position. They need to work hard very lot. So thus there are three kinds of devotees are being mentioned here. We can say that not exactly, but Kanishta, Madhyama, and Uttama, something like that. The previous verse, whatever is being spoken is Uttama, devotee, Uttama Bhakta. The first two lines talks about Madhyama, not exactly Madhyama Bhakta, but a devotee is endeavoring to overcome the lower tendencies. He is at the stage of Anartha Nivrutti. The other person is already reached the Bhava Prema stage, Nishtha, Ruchi, Bhava Prema. This person is going through Anartha Nivrutti state. And the last person who is mentioned in the third line is still attached to his material tendencies. A long way to go. So they are the three kinds of devotees who have been described in these two verses. So their position and their status is being mentioned. So there is one verse, Lord Brahma says same thing, the same tone in the 14th chapter of the 10th canto. So wherein he says that Yavad Ragadayastena Yavat Kara Graham Gruham Yavat Mohongri Nigado Tavan Krishna Natejana. As long as one does not become Krishna's Jana, Krishna Jana, a person of Lord Krishna, till then, what happens? Yavad Ragadayastena. Whatever attachments we have toward the people or things in this material world, we will have attachment to our, where is that? Smartphone, laptop, and our home, building, for us, locker, whatever. So whatever attachments we have in this material world to so many things or people, they all act like the thieves. They steal away our valuable time and energy. Yavad Ragadaya Stena. Stena means thief. Yavad Kara Graham Graham. Our attachment to our home will be there, but that home will become a Kara Graha. Even at the time of death, if a person is attached to the Graha, that person will take birth in that Graha only, like a rat or cat or whatever. So Graha becomes Kara Graha, a jail. So then, Yavad Mohongri Nigado. Our moha, our understanding that I am a knowledgeable person, I am this, I am that, I am this, they are actually put us in illusion. The only solution is to become Krishna Jana. Till we become Krishna Jana, all these things will actually bind us in this material world. So this shloka and that shloka, both are almost same. So having talked about the devotees at various levels, now in the next 4 verses, Lord Brahma talks about non-devotees at various levels. First, he talks about karmis. How the endeavors of the karmis become futile. Daivena te hatadiyo bhavata prasangat sarva shubho pashamanam vimukendriyate kurvanti kama sukalesha lavaya dina Loba vibhuta manaso kushalani shashvat.
O my Lord, a person who had bereft of all auspicious performance of chanting and hearing about your transcendental activities are certainly unfortunate and are also bereft of good sense. They engage in inauspicious activities, enjoying sense gratification for a very little while.
So there are 2 points are mentioned here in relation to karmis. So it says that Daivenate atadiyo bhavata prasanga vimukendriyaye. Bhavata prasanga vimukendriya. Those people turn their senses away from the association of your lotus feet. Bhavata prasanga. Prasanga means your association. Those who turn their senses away, those who keep their senses away from the association of your lotus feet, because they have lost their intelligence. Hatadiyo. So what is so special about lotus feet? Somebody may ask. He said that Sarva Ashubha Upashamanat. Whatever Ashubha we have in this material world, all the Ashubha will be removed only when we take shelter of Lord's lotus feet. If we don't turn to Lord's lotus feet, our life is filled with all the Ashubha. If we turn, Ashubha will be removed. Then, having turned away from Lord's lotus feet, then what will happen? Which are the source, which are the prime cause of the removal of all the Ashubha? Kurvanti Kama Sukha. For the sake of fulfilling Kama Sukha, they perform various activities. For what purpose? Lesha Lavaya Kama Sukha. For a small insignificant material pleasure, they perform all the variety of material activities. How? Lobha abhihuta manaso. Their mind is deeply absorbed in that material activities. They are intensely greed for that material enjoyment. Akushalani Shashvat. They continue to perform that kind of akushala karma. Not kushala karma. Kushala karma is those activities which bring happiness to a person, which bring kushal, auspicious to a person. But these activities which are meant to give us kama sukha lavalesha are only akushala karma. They will continue to perform those activities and they will continue to get misery. If you remember what was the verse spoken by Vidura at the beginning of his conversation with Maitreya, this is the same verse. Chapter 5, verse number 2. That is the first verse first question asked to Maitreya by Vidura.
Soham Sukh.
Nine, that is 8th chapter.
Sukaya Karmani.
Yes. Go ahead, continue.
Prabhuji, I don't remember exactly.
Whatever you remember, you try.
Sukani Karmani Loka. Not recollecting.
Sukaya karmani karoti loke natai sukam vanayadu paramamba vindeta bhuya tataiva dukkam yadatra yuktam bhagavan vadena. So basically with the intention to get happiness and remove misery, people perform activities. But the activities neither remove misery nor give happiness, instead they give more misery. But the people stop the activities? No. They stop this activity but they perform another activity hoping that they will get happiness. Akushala karmani shashvat. They continuously perform akushala karma. That is what happened to the materialistic people in this material world. This verse is talking about the karmis who are taking up this work, later that work with intention to get happiness. And then what will happen to gross materialists? Among the materialists, the grossest of the materialists, how that person is being troubled in this material world. Akushalam, what will happen? How does the akushalam takes place in their life? That is mentioned in the next verse. Shutrutridhatu birimamur ardhamana shitoshnavatavarshairitareta racha Kamagninachutarusha sajurbarena sampashyato manavurukramasidate me.
Oh great actor, my lord. All these poor creatures are constantly perplexed by hunger, thirst, severe cold, secretions and bile, attacked by coughing winter, blasting summer, rains and many other disturbing elements, and overwhelmed by strong sex urges and indefatigable anger. I take pity on them and I am very much aggrieved for them.
So here Lord Brahma says that they will actually experience tapatraya, 3 kinds of miseries. What are the 3 kinds of miseries? Adhyatmika, Adibhautika and Adidaivika. So they are mentioned in this verse. Adi Bhautika miseries are, Adi Bhautika means not Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika. The miseries offered by one's own body and mind. The miseries of the body are Shut, hunger, Trit, thirst, and Tri Dhatuvir. The miseries caused by Kapavata Pitta. Ajkal Ayurveda is very famous. Everyone understands Kapavata Pitta. And Imamur Ardemana. They actually constantly keep giving misery. Hunger ka misery is not one day. Hunger is there every day and daily 3 times. Truth. Tridhatupur misery is not once in a lifetime. It keep coming. That's why the word is used muhur. Again and again it comes. These are Adi Bhautika Klesha in relation to the body. And then Adi Daivika Klesha. Shita, winter. Ushna, summer. Vata, wind. Varsha, rain. Actually, Shita means cold. Ushna is heat. And Vata is air, wind. Varsha is rain. These are Adi Bhautika Klesha. When they are more, we are beyond things beyond our control. Recently, we have used rains, downpour. Here in Mumbai and many other places, Hyderabad, there are used downpour. Uncontrollable. And Itaracha, Adi Bhautika Klesha. The Klesha caused by our dear and near neighbors, all other people who are around us. This is Adi Bhautika Klesha. This is Adi Daivika Klesha. And the first line is Adi Bhautika Klesha with the body. And Adi Bhautika Klesha, sorry, Adhyatmika Klesha with the mind. What mind causes? Kamagnina, the fire of lust, the fire of desire, and Achyuta Rusha, indefatigable anger. Achyuta means infallible. Rusha is anger. Sa Durubarena, unbearable. The anger and the greed are unbearable. Lust or greed, whatever way you can take. So these are the problems caused by one's own mind, body, nature, and the surrounding people. Sampashyato mana urukrama. Seeing all these things, my mind is actually getting pained. My dear Lord, please tell me the means to get deliverance from all these things. Please tell me so that I can teach all of them so that they'll get delivered from all these miseries. So these two verses talks about the difficulties the karmis undergo in this material world. So it is like that. The same thing further continues in the next verse. The next verse also kind of continues the miseries. Why karmis go through all these miseries? What is the reason why they go through all these miseries? What is the reason behind that? That is explained in the next verse. So the next verse is directly connected to the verses spoken by Vyasdev in the first canto 7th chapter when he compares Bhagavatam. Bhakti yoga manasi samyak pranite male apashyat purusham purnam mayanitata parasharam. The next verse is the same verse here. Yavat prutaktamidam atmana indriyartha maya balam bhagavato janaisha pashet tavanna samsruti raso pratisankrameta vyartha pidukka nivaham vahati kriyartha.
Oh my Lord. Oh my Lord, the material miseries are without actual existence for the soul, yet as long as the conditioned soul sees the body as meant for sense enjoyment, he cannot get out of the entanglement of material miseries, being influenced by your external energy.
So here one simple thing. Prutaktvam idam atmana indriyartha maya balam. One simple thing. The only reason why people go through miseries in this material world is one identifies oneself with the body. One does not understand that one is separate from the body. Atma is separate from the body. As soon as one understands that one is separate from the body, all one's troubles are put apart. As long as one understands that one is a personality is made up of the body and mind, that is the root cause of all the problems. Tavan na sansritatam aso pratisankramena. Till the time one does not understand that one is Atma different from the body, till then the samsara will continue to exist for this particular person. Vyartha api, though it is meaningless, the miseries that are there for the body, dukkha nivaham vahanti kriyartha. Still, people perform so many activities in order to get rid of the miseries of the body and mind. Hare Krishna, you are getting this point? This point appears to be very harsh. So how can you say that the miseries of the body and mind are not true miseries? Any answer from you?
Prabhuji, it is same as what we discussed in the last chapter na, with that moon ka analogy.
Yes. Same thing. It is like the dream thing. In the dream, we see ourselves, our head is being cut. And when the dream is going on, we are feeling very fearful experience we go through because my head is cut ho gaya. But the dream karne wala ho to acha hi hai. Atma acha hi hai. Body is going through misery, but one identifies the miseries of the body because one is in the body in that reason, because of that. So that is the reason. So yavat prutaktam, till the time one does not understand one is separate from the body, till then samskriti is there for the jiva. Samskriti refers to the cycle of birth and death. The repeated cycle of birth and death in Sanskrit is called as samskriti or samsara.
But still, Prabhuji, I just want to add this point that so many times we hear this, like as a devotee who are there 15 years more than that in the devotion, n number of times we have heard this, but still, like it's very difficult to remain in that stage of being a soul only and not relating to surrounding with respect to body. It's very difficult, like still we have not come to a stage where nothing affects us. Like in Bhagavad Gita also it is said that yasmannod vijate loko lokannod vijate, but that state is very difficult to achieve. Like, this just means yes, we progress step by step towards that state, but the goal is still very far, I think.
Whether it is far or near, we don't know, but we have to work hard to come to that point. That's why we have to do all these things. Unless until we don't come to that place, we cannot get out of this material world. We should become indifferent to this material existence. Then only we can go back to Godhead. Of course, but we need to endeavor that I want that. We need to show to the Lord that I want this. Then Lord will give that. So in that way. So now the next verse talks about the Jnanis. How Jnanis go through the troubles in this material world. The previous 3 verses talked about the karmis. Ahna prutartha karana nishinichayana nana manoratha diya kshana bhagna nidra daivahatartha rachana rushayopi deva yushmat prasanga vimuka ya samsaranti.
Such non-devotees engage their senses in very troublesome and extensive work, and they suffer insomnia at night because their intelligence constantly breaks their sleep with various mental speculations. They are frustrated in all their various plans by supernatural power. Even great sages, if they are against your transcendental topics, must rotate in this material world.
So here the Jnanis is mentioned. Why Jnanis go through troubles? Yusmat prasanga vimuka iya samsaranti. Because they are vimuka from your association. They are not interested in your association. They don't want to be in the association of your lotus feet. Because of that, they always talk about in terms of Brahman, 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 not Bhagavan. They will continue to stay in this material world. Even while practicing their jnana, they don't want to serve your lotus feet as a part of sadhana. They always kind of deride your personal form. Because of that, they will continue in this material world. But how do they do in their sadhana? Ahani. Ahani means daytime. during daytime. Artha Karana. The senses are already in Artha condition. They are highly disturbed. And they use those highly disturbed senses in studying the Jnana literature. And in the night when they are supposed to give rest to the senses, Nishinichayana. Nishi means night. Nishayana, they are supposed to be taking rest. Nana Manoratha Diya Kshanabhagna Nidra. They does not get rest. They are disturbed by so many dreams. Shana Bhagna Nidra. Their sleep is constantly disturbed by so many unwanted things. So whole day they are engaging their senses in so-called speculation. Whole night the senses are not able to get rest. That's why they are always in Artha condition. They are always in miserable distressful condition. Daivaha Tartha Rachana Rushayopi Deva. Even though they may be the great rishis, but the only solace the senses get is as a result of their previous karma, whatever enjoyment the senses get, there they will find satisfaction. Otherwise, the Jnani lifestyle is full of austerities. The daytime, lot of way of engaging them in a lot of other activities, and nighttime they are not getting any rest. The only solace for them is some results as per their previous karma. Here, Deva refers to karma, their previous karma. Daiva Hatartha Karachana Rushayopi Deva. So, in that way. So, that is how they continue to stay in this material world. And when they find some solace in that enjoyment, which is a result of previous karma, and they want to enjoy more and more, so they continue to perform karma. Like that, their life continues in this material world, life after life. So that's how it is being indicated here. The Jnanis are only getting trouble. They are not getting any happiness. Yes. Of course, Prabhupada talks about that A.N. Arvind Akshayamukta, that verse which we quoted in some time back, 10th canto. Prabhupada quotes here that verse in relation to Jnanis. But the more important thing is that the later one, Prabhupada quotes 3 verses from the 6th canto in the Ajamil episode, where what we are supposed to do, how we are supposed to do, everything will be revealed by the 12 great Mahajans. So those 12 Mahajans are being mentioned in this verses. Swayambur, Narada, Shambhu, Kumaro, Kapilo, Manu, Prahlado, Janako, Bhishma, Balir, Vayasaki, Vayam. Why? What is that we are understanding from them? Dvadasaite Vichanimo, Dharmam Bhagavatam Bata. We understand Bhagavad Dharma from these 12 people only. We cannot find it from anywhere else. What is the nature of the Bhagavad Dharma? Guhyam, it is very secret. Vishuddham, it is very pure. Durbodham, it is not understood just like that. And Yem Nyatva, Amrutam Ashnute. Whoever understands this Bhagavad Dharma, they will attain eternality. They will go back to Godhead. That's why it is Guhyam, it is Vishuddham, it is Durbodham. The only way we can understand is taking shelter of pure devotees. So we are already, it is almost 8:30. I'll just take 3-4 minutes. By taking shelter of pure devotees, what will happen to us? What kind of Amruta we will get? Of course, Amruta one will get. What do you mean by Amruta? Amruta means what? A nectar part to drink, breakfast, lunch, dinner. So that is being described in the last 11th verse. This is last verse for today's discussion. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavitaru saroja ase shrutekshita pato nanunata pumsham yaddhyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattat vapu pranayase sadanugrahaya.
Oh my Lord, your devotees can see through the years by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you.
So here, if you remember the previous thing, we have to take shelter of 12 Mahajans, one of the 12 Mahajans. Of course, currently they are not there. We have to take shelter of some of their bona fide representatives. That is indicated here as Nanu Nata Pumsha. We have to take shelter of one of the bona fide representative of the 12 Mahajanas. So when we take shelter of these bona fide representatives, what will happen to us? Shruta Ikshita Pada. We will follow the path called as Bhakti Yoga. What do you mean by Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga is a process of seeing through hearing. Shruta Ikshita Pada. We will see everything about the Supreme Personality of God, everything about the spiritual world only by hearing. By hearing only we understand, we will be able to see, and we will be able to engage in the service. That actually in one way, if you see, when we hear and engage ourselves in service of Supreme Lord, one day we will have the good fortune of seeing the direct form of the Supreme Lord. Then eventually we will get the opportunity to serve the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of God. So this is the whole process of bhakti. Shruta Ikshita Pada. Ase Shruta Ikshita Pada. Currently we have to start our Naveda Bhakti starting from hearing. Then eventually one day we will be able to have the darshan of Lord's form. Then we will be able to serve him continuously. There are the three steps: hearing and continues all the way up to Atma Nivedanam, and then seeing the Lord's form, then becoming an Asura Supreme Lord and serving him continuously. What is that? Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavita Rusaroja. When devotees engages in the devotional service, starting with hearing, that hearing takes the transformation in the form of Lord being manifest in the heart of the devotee. Rut Saroja, Paribhavita Rut Saroja. The heart transforms itself into a lotus within which the Bhagavan becomes seated there. Then what happens? Yadde Dhyata Urugaya Vibhavayanti. The devotee, while executing their sadhana bhakti, they always do contemplation about a particular form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yadde Dhyata Urugaya Vibhavayanti. And Lord, out of his causeless mercy, Tattad Vapu Pranese Tadanugrahaya, will reveal that form to those devotees. Shruta, and then Shravanam, Kirtanam, Archanam, all the way up to Atma Nivedana, when we do the Ikshita, the Dikshita will be done by Lord's mercy. Lord will reveal that form upon which a devotee is contemplating constantly. That form will be revealed to those devotees at the end. That is Ikshita. Then the devotee will continue to serve that form of the Lord in the Lord's abode in that Vaikuntha. If somebody is a devotee of Lord Ram, will go to Ayodhya in the spiritual world and serve after having the darshan of Lord Ram. And somebody is Ishtadev is Lord Narsimhadev. They will see the form of Narsimhadev and they will go to the Vaikuntha and Vaikuntha. Narsimhadev is there and they will continue to serve Lord Narsimhadev. So that is understanding. Shruta, then darshan, Shravanam, then darshanam, then eventually Sevanam, service. This is the meaning given to this verse by Srila Sridhar Swami, which Prabhupada translates here. There is another meaning to this verse from the Rasik point of view, which is given by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Tagore. A Vedic sadhana bhakti will always think about a non-reverential form of Lord Vishnu or something like that. But a Raganuga sadhana bhakta will always think of serving the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna in one of the principal four rasas: Dasya, Sakya, Vasalya, Madhurya. When they executing the Raganuga bhakti, they always want to serve the Supreme Lord in one of the four rasas. And the Lord, out of his causeless mercy, will give them Tattat Vapu, that particular form with which they can render service in that particular rasa. They will get the form of a Engu Gopa, so that they can serve Lord Krishna as a Sakyaras, as a friend. They will get a form of elderly Gopa or elderly Gopi, so that they can serve Lord Krishna in Vasalyaras. Or they will get a form of Engu Gopi, so that they can serve Lord Krishna in a Madhuryaras. Or they will get a form of one of the citizen in Braja, so that they can serve in Dasyaras. So one of these four rasas, they can serve the Supreme Lord. That is the meaning here. So in order to serve the Lord in that particular rasa, they will get that particular form in Goloka. This is in relation to Lord Krishna, or in relation to Garbhodakshaya Vishnu or any other form of Vishnu, the Aishwarya form. Whichever form a devotee thinks, Lord will show that darshan and take that devotee to that respect to Vaikuntha, and there that devotee will continue to serve that form of Lord. So two meanings can be seen to this verse. So this is what happens by practicing bhakti, by taking shelter of one of the bona fide representative of the 12 Mahajanas, which are mentioned in the previous verse. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
No, no, I thought the class ended, so I said Hare Krishna.
Yeah, class ended, class ended.
Okay, okay.
Any devotees have any queries? Yes, Madhush.
Yes, from the 8th chapter, no, in the